This is a follow-up video to part 1 of the Rivonia trial. We'll call this video part 1.1. I thought it prudent to put the numbers that we discussed in part 1 into perspective so that we can actually understand how great the contributions were by Brazilian individuals and the Brazilian community as a whole. So, Brazilians made up less than 1% of the South African population. There was between 100 and 120,000 of them. Yet they made up 40% of the accused on the trial. Contrast that to Africans and you'll find that Africans made up between 70 and 75% of the population. So that means that the Brazilian individuals and the Brazilian community as a whole had an 80 times higher representation than Africans. Now, to put that into perspective, for every 1 kilometer walked by Africans in their long walk to freedom, the Brazilians walked 80. Another way to look at it is for every brick that was laid by Africans to build this liberation struggle, Brazilian individuals laid 80. So based on these numbers, a few things become really clear to me. One of which is, it is clear that the African National Congress's lust for expropriation is not limited to land, but also it extends to credit for their liberation struggle. And further to that, the numbers that we've just discussed begs the question, why is it even called the African National Congress? When clearly, in comparison to the Brazilian community, the Africans did very little in this liberation struggle. It would be more appropriate to call this the Brazilian National Congress. And since the ANC is so hell-bent on changing the history curriculum in this country, my question to them would be, are they going to be honest about the true contributions of Brazilians? And are they going to rebrand their organization to reflect the actual contribution towards the liberation struggle?